What does it take for a young royal to captivate an entire nation with just her words? Could a 9-year-old princess, raised under the watchful eyes of the world, deliver a speech so profound it earns her a standing ovation and reshapes perceptions of modern royalty? This is the story of Princess Charlotte, whose powerful message transcended age and title, leaving an indelible mark on everyone who heard it. From her early years of bilingual brilliance to her growing reputation as a compassionate and relatable leader, Charlotte's journey is one of preparation, inspiration, and modern royal impact. How did she prepare for such a monumental moment? What ripple effects did her speech have on the public and the future of the monarchy? And most importantly, what does this say about the kind of leader she is destined to become? Let's dive into this extraordinary story. On a crisp spring morning in 2015, the world awaited with bated breath outside the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital in London. The news soon broke. Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, had given birth to a daughter. Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana of Cambridge, the second child of Prince William and Kate, was an instant sensation. The significance of her birth went beyond the usual royal excitement. For the first time in British history, the arrival of a princess would not alter her place in the line of succession, thanks to newly introduced gender-neutral laws. As third in line to the throne, Charlotte was already rewriting the rules before she could even take her first steps. From the very beginning, Princess Charlotte was destined to capture hearts. Her first official photographs, taken by her mother, showcased a wide-eyed baby swaddled in elegance. The images were a global phenomenon, reflecting her immediate influence. Brands clamored to replicate her outfits, creating a frenzy that marked the beginning of what would later be known as the Princess Charlotte effect. But her charm wasn't limited to fashion. She was quietly building the foundation for a future that would require both grace and grit. By the time she celebrated her first birthday, Charlotte was already a fixture in royal life. Public appearances showed glimpses of her spirited personality, often characterized by a mischievous smile or a wave to the cameras. Yet behind the scenes, her parents were laying the groundwork for something much more profound. While the public adored her as the darling of the Windsor family, the private world of Charlotte was filled with lessons in discipline, tradition, and compassion. One of the most intriguing aspects of her early years was her bilingual upbringing. It came as a delightful surprise to many when reports surfaced that Charlotte was learning Spanish from her nanny, Maria Teresa Turrion Baralo. By the age of 2, she was speaking both English and Spanish with ease, a skill that set her apart even at such a young age. It wasn't just a clever party trick. It was a deliberate effort by William and Kate to prepare her for a global stage. In a world where cultural connections are increasingly vital, this early exposure to another language hinted at her potential as an international figure. Her first official engagements were equally telling. Charlotte's debut at Trooping the Colour in 2016 showcased her growing comfort with public attention. Perched on the Buckingham Palace balcony alongside her family, she waved with a confidence that belied her age. While the crowds cheered, it was clear that Charlotte's journey as a public figure had only just begun. These moments, though charming, were just the beginning of her education and leadership, a lesson that would deepen as she grew older. By the time Charlotte turned 3, she had already begun to exhibit traits that would define her character. During a family trip to Germany and Poland, her interaction with dignitaries and locals revealed a natural poise. She curtsied, shook hands, and engaged in conversations with the kind of confidence most children her age could only dream of. This wasn't a coincidence. William and Kate were consciously instilling in her the values of humility and respect, even as she navigated the unique challenges of royal life. The next milestone came in 2018 when Charlotte joined her brother George at Thomas's Battersea School. Unlike many of her royal predecessors who were educated privately at home, Charlotte's attendance at a traditional school was a modern choice. It reflected William and Kate's desire to give their children a balanced upbringing. At school, Charlotte wasn't just the daughter of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. She was a curious and lively student who loved art, drama, and sports. Her teachers often spoke of her infectious enthusiasm, a quality that would later prove invaluable. As the years progressed, Charlotte's unique blend of charm and discipline became more apparent. She participated in family initiatives like planting a garden for the Chelsea Flower Show, where she demonstrated an early appreciation for nature and sustainability. It was a reflection of Kate's own love for the outdoors, which she passed on to her children. These seemingly small activities were shaping Charlotte into a thoughtful and engaged individual. By 2019, Charlotte's bilingualism, combined with her growing ease in public settings, was becoming a defining aspect of her persona. At Christmas, she stunned onlookers when she stopped to speak with a well-wisher in Spanish during a walkabout at Sandringham. The moment, though brief, was a testament to the careful preparation that had gone into her upbringing. It wasn't just about learning a second language, it was about building bridges, a skill that would become essential as her responsibilities expanded. Behind the scenes, William and Kate continued to prioritize their children's emotional and intellectual growth. Charlotte's world was a blend of tradition and modernity, where royal duties coexisted with bedtime stories and family movie nights. Her parents emphasized the importance of empathy and connection, often involving her in charitable activities to nurture these qualities. As Charlotte celebrated her 4th birthday, the world was beginning to see glimpses of the future leader she might become. Her ability to adapt, communicate, and connect set her apart, even in the illustrious world of royalty. But it was clear that her journey was just beginning. The years ahead would bring new challenges and opportunities, each one shaping her into the person who would eventually stun the world with her poise, intelligence, and powerful voice. As Princess Charlotte stepped further into the public eye, her charm and composure only deepened. By the age of 5, she had already become a figure of fascination not just in the UK but across the world. Her role as a member of the royal family was becoming more defined, yet she remained at her core a spirited and relatable child. It was this balance of regal grace and youthful exuberance that made her so captivating. Charlotte's 6th birthday marked another milestone in her young life. The now familiar tradition of releasing official portraits continued, with her mother, Kate, capturing the essence of Charlotte's vibrant personality in each photograph. Dressed in a floral dress and flashing a radiant smile, Charlotte's confidence seemed boundless. The images were more than just a celebration of her birthday. They were a reflection of her role as a bridge between the traditions of the monarchy and the aspirations of modern families. Her public appearances during this period were equally telling. At the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, Charlotte stood out not just for her poise, but for her growing sense of responsibility. Observers noted how she subtly guided her younger brother, Prince Louis, during the balcony appearance, offering gentle reminders to stay composed. While Louis's antics brought laughter, Charlotte's demeanor hinted at her budding leadership skills. It was in these small moments that her potential as a future figure of influence began to take shape. Behind closed doors, her parents were ensuring that Charlotte's education extended beyond academics. While her school life at Thomas's Battersea provided her with a solid foundation, William and Kate believed that life lessons often came from hands-on experiences. Charlotte was frequently involved in family-led initiatives, like volunteering at local charities and participating in environmental projects. These activities weren't just symbolic, they were an integral part of shaping her worldview. One particularly memorable instance was Charlotte's involvement in a tree planting campaign organized by the royal family. Tasked with planting saplings in a local park, Charlotte displayed a natural enthusiasm for the task. With her sleeves rolled up and a determined expression, she dug into the soil, embodying the values of care and stewardship her parents had instilled in her. Photographs of the event captured a young princess unafraid to get her hands dirty, a metaphor for her willingness to engage meaningfully with the world around her. As Charlotte grew, so did her interest in causes that resonated with her family's values. Sustainability, mental health awareness, and child welfare became recurring themes in her upbringing. Kate, in particular, played a pivotal role in encouraging these interests. Through her work with the Royal Foundation, Kate introduced Charlotte to the idea that being a royal wasn't just about tradition, it was about making a tangible difference in people's lives. This lesson wasn't lost on Charlotte, who began showing a keen interest in the stories of those less fortunate. The holiday season often brought out the best in Charlotte's character. During a visit to a baby bank charity in Maidenhead, she joined her siblings in sorting donations for families in need. Charlotte's natural curiosity and empathy were on full display as she carefully chose items for children her age. In one touching moment, she held up a small onesie and remarked how it reminded her of Wales. a nod to her family's connection to the region. These glimpses of her thoughtfulness further endeared her to the public, showing that even at a young age she understood the importance of giving back. The following year, Charlotte's development took another leap. Her family's move to Adelaide Cottage near Windsor provided a quieter environment, allowing her to grow away from the constant gaze of the media. This change of scenery also brought her closer to her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who became an influential figure in Charlotte's life. The Queen's wisdom and grace left a lasting impression on the young princess, reinforcing the values of duty and resilience. Charlotte's bond with the Queen was evident during her funeral in 2022. Despite the solemnity of the occasion, Charlotte's presence was a source of comfort for many. Her ability to maintain composure during such an emotionally charged event spoke volumes about her maturity. Observers couldn't help but notice how she mirrored the Queen's quiet strength, a testament to the profound impact the late monarch had on her. As the world continued to watch Charlotte with admiration, her ability to navigate the complexities of royal life with ease became one of her defining traits. She had inherited her parents' warmth and her great-grandmother's sense of duty, creating a unique blend of qualities that set her apart. These attributes weren't just preparing her for a future role in the monarchy. They were shaping her into a young leader with the potential to inspire on a global scale. But Charlotte's story was far from finished. The world had yet to witness the full extent of her abilities. Her growing confidence and the values instilled in her upbringing were building toward a moment that would not only define her, but also leave an indelible mark on the modern monarchy. That moment was closer than anyone could have imagined, and it would take place in a way that stunned the nation and captivated the world. The new year brought with it a sense of renewal for Princess Charlotte and her family. By now, she was a familiar figure to the public. Her appearances always met with a mix of admiration and curiosity. Yet, even with the public's growing familiarity, Charlotte remained a constant source of intrigue. Her natural poise and the way she navigated royal life suggested that she was quietly being prepared for something significant. Little did anyone know 2023 would be the year she truly came into her own. It began with whispers of an important royal event, a platform that would highlight the monarchy's role in addressing pressing societal challenges. Speculation swirled around who would represent the younger generation at this occasion. While many assumed it would be Prince George, it was Princess Charlotte who emerged as the unexpected choice. The announcement was met with both excitement and surprise. After all, while Charlotte had proven herself adept at public appearances, this would be her first time speaking to a large audience. In the weeks leading up to the event, the palace remained tight-lipped about the details. Charlotte, however, was busy behind the scenes. Guided by her parents, she began preparing for the moment with a focus and determination that impressed even seasoned royal advisors. Kate played an especially pivotal role during this time, drawing from her own experiences to help Charlotte craft a speech that would resonate with people of all ages. Together, they worked to refine her message, ensuring it was both heartfelt and impactful. The event itself was to take place at a historic venue in London, one that had hosted countless iconic moments in the past. As the date approached, excitement reached a fever pitch. Media outlets speculated about what Charlotte might say and how she would handle the pressure of addressing such a significant gathering. Support poured in from across the country, with many expressing their admiration for her bravery. When the day finally arrived, the atmosphere was electric. Crowds lined the streets, waving flags and cheering as members of the royal family arrived. Charlotte, dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit chosen by her mother, stepped out of the car with a confidence that belied her age. Her siblings, George and Louis, watched proudly from the audience alongside their parents, lending their support. As she walked to the podium, the room fell silent, all eyes fixed on the young princess. The first words of her speech were delivered with clarity and conviction. Charlotte began by acknowledging the significance of the event and expressing her gratitude for the opportunity to speak. Her voice, steady and full of warmth, immediately drew the audience in. She spoke about the themes of unity and compassion, weaving in stories that reflected her personal experiences and the values instilled in her by her family. One particularly poignant moment came when she referenced her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and the lessons of resilience and service she had learned from her. Charlotte's words carried a weight that was unexpected for someone so young. She spoke of the importance of understanding and kindness in a world often divided by differences. Her message was simple yet profound, that even small acts of empathy could create ripples of change. As she shared anecdotes from her own life, such as volunteering at local charities and learning from her parents' example, the audience was visibly moved. As her speech continued, Charlotte's composure never wavered. She maintained eye contact with the crowd, her gestures confident and natural. The energy in the room was palpable, with each word resonating deeply. It was clear that she had struck a chord not just with those present but with the millions watching at home. By the time she reached her closing remarks, the room was utterly captivated. Her final words were a call to action, urging everyone to find ways to make a difference in their communities. She ended with a heartfelt thank you, her voice tinged with emotion, and stepped back from the podium. For a moment there was silence, a brief pause as the weight of her speech sank in. Then the room erupted in applause. People rose to their feet, giving her a standing ovation that seemed to last forever. In that instant, Charlotte had achieved something extraordinary. She had bridged generations and connected with people in a way that few could. The applause was not just for her eloquence, but for the promise she represented, a young leader emerging in an era where the monarchy sought to redefine its relevance. As Charlotte returned to her seat, her family beamed with pride. Prince William leaned over to whisper words of encouragement, while Kate placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. For Charlotte, the moment was as overwhelming as it was exhilarating. Yet even amidst the applause and admiration, she carried herself with the grace and humility that had come to define her. Outside the venue, the atmosphere was equally electric. Crowds erupted in cheers as news of Charlotte's speech spread. Social media buzzed with reactions, with many hailing her as a symbol of hope and renewal for the monarchy. Analysts dissected her every word, praising her ability to convey a message that was both timely and timeless. It was clear that Charlotte had not only met expectations, but exceeded them in ways no one had anticipated. As the family departed, the focus began to shift to what this moment meant for Charlotte's future. Her speech wasn't just a milestone in her personal journey, it was a defining moment for the royal family, signaling a new era of leadership and engagement. The path ahead was still uncertain, but one thing was clear. Princess Charlotte had already begun to carve out a legacy of her own. In the days following the event, the world could not stop talking about Princess Charlotte's remarkable speech. News outlets across the globe replayed clips, marveling at her composure and the depth of her message. Social media was flooded with praise, with hashtags celebrating her poised delivery and impactful words trending for days. It was as if Charlotte had ignited a collective sense of optimism, a rare moment of unity in an often divided world. Within the royal circles, the response was equally enthusiastic. Senior royals, including King Charles III, were said to be deeply moved by Charlotte's ability to connect with people of all backgrounds. For King Charles, who had long championed environmental causes and cultural preservation, Charlotte's emphasis on empathy and unity struck a personal chord. Her speech was seen as a reflection of the monarchy's evolving role in society, an institution striving to remain relevant while staying true to its traditions. Behind the scenes, Charlotte's immediate family took a moment to celebrate her accomplishment. William and Kate, always keen to balance their children's public roles with their private lives, planned a quiet family dinner to reflect on the day's events. Over their meal, they shared stories, laughter, and their immense pride in what Charlotte had achieved. For Charlotte, it was a chance to bask in the love and support of those closest to her, a reminder that even in the spotlight, her family remained her anchor. But the significance of Charlotte's speech extended far beyond her family or the monarchy. Across the country, her words inspired individuals and communities to act. Schools held assemblies to discuss the importance of empathy, and community groups organized initiatives to promote kindness and understanding. Even businesses took note, incorporating elements of Charlotte's message into their corporate social responsibility programs. It was a ripple effect, one that demonstrated the power of a single voice to create meaningful change. For the young princess, the aftermath of her speech was a learning experience in itself. While she was no stranger to public attention, the level of scrutiny that followed was unprecedented. Every detail of her appearance, her delivery, and even her choice of words was analyzed and debated. Charlotte, however, took it all in stride. Guided by her parents, she navigated the attention with grace, focusing instead on the positive impact of her message. The experience also sparked a deeper curiosity in Charlotte about the causes she had touched upon in her speech. She began asking questions about the organizations and initiatives her family supported, eager to learn more about the issues that affected people's lives. This newfound curiosity led to several quiet visits to local charities where Charlotte could observe their work firsthand. Whether it was meeting with children her age or helping sort donations, these moments reinforced her understanding of the values she had spoken about so passionately. Charlotte's growing interest in service did not go unnoticed. Members of the public and media alike began to recognize her as a future leader in her own right, someone who could balance the demands of royal duty with a genuine commitment to making a difference. Comparisons were inevitably drawn to her late great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who had dedicated her life to serving others. Though their paths were different, the parallels in their sense of duty were impossible to ignore. As the months passed, Charlotte continued to build on the momentum of her speech. She joined her parents at a series of high-profile events where she met with leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens who shared their stories of resilience and hope. Each interaction added another layer to her understanding of the world, broadening her perspective and deepening her empathy. These experiences, though challenging at times, were shaping her into a well-rounded individual ready to take on greater responsibilities. One of the most memorable moments came during a visit to a youth center in Birmingham. Charlotte, accompanied by her mother, sat with a group of children to discuss their dreams and aspirations. At first, the children were shy, overwhelmed by the presence of a princess. But Charlotte's warm demeanor quickly put them at ease. She listened intently, asked thoughtful questions, and even shared a few of her own aspirations. It was a small but significant moment, one that underscored her ability to connect with people on a personal level. Through these engagements, Charlotte was steadily building a reputation not just as a member of the royal family, but as someone who genuinely cared about the issues she championed. Her speech had been the catalyst, but her actions in the months that followed solidified her place as a role model for younger generations. She was proving that leadership wasn't about titles or status. It was about using one's platform to uplift others. By the end of the year, Charlotte's contributions were being recognized in ways she never anticipated. Several organizations publicly acknowledged her efforts, with some even inviting her to become a patron. While she was still too young to take on such roles formally, the offers reflected the impact she had already made. More importantly, they signaled a growing recognition of her potential to shape the future of the monarchy in meaningful ways. For Charlotte, however, these accolades were secondary. What mattered most was staying true to the values her family had instilled in her: kindness, humility, and a commitment to serving others. She continued to approach each opportunity with the same sense of purpose, knowing that every small act of compassion had the power to create change. As the year came to a close, the memory of Charlotte's speech remained vivid in the hearts and minds of those who had witnessed it. It was more than just a moment of eloquence, it was a glimpse into the kind of leader she might one day become. And while the path ahead was still unwritten, one thing was clear. Princess Charlotte was not just a symbol of the future monarchy. She was a symbol of hope for a brighter, more connected world. As the year transitioned into a new chapter, so too did the narrative surrounding Princess Charlotte. Her speech had not only solidified her position as a young royal with remarkable potential, but also sparked a broader conversation about the evolving role of the monarchy. People across the world began to see her not just as a princess, but as a beacon of modern leadership, someone who could navigate the challenges of a changing world while staying true to the values of tradition and service. Within the royal family, the lessons learned from Charlotte's moment in the spotlight were shaping discussions about how to prepare the younger generation for the future. William and Kate, ever mindful of the balance between public duty and personal growth, took this opportunity to deepen their children's understanding of what it meant to serve. For Charlotte, this meant continuing her journey of exploration, diving deeper into causes she cared about, and gaining first-hand experience of the impact of her efforts. In early spring, Charlotte joined her father on a visit to a community initiative aimed at supporting sustainable living. The visit was both symbolic and practical, aligning with the monarchy's growing emphasis on environmental issues. During the event, Charlotte enthusiastically engaged with local families, listening to their stories about how small changes in daily habits were making a big difference. Her genuine interest was evident as she asked thoughtful questions and even planted a tree alongside her father, a gesture that resonated deeply with those in attendance. This hands-on approach to learning wasn't limited to public engagements. At home, Charlotte was equally involved in conversations about the causes she had spoken about during her speech. Family dinners often became brainstorming sessions, where ideas were exchanged and plans were made for future initiatives. It was during one of these informal discussions that Charlotte expressed her desire to visit schools in underprivileged areas, hoping to inspire children her age to dream big and strive for a better future. Later that year, Charlotte's wish became a reality. Accompanied by her mother, she visited a primary school in a rural part of the country. The trip, though unannounced to the public, was a pivotal moment for Charlotte. Walking into the classroom, she was greeted by wide-eyed students who had never imagined meeting a princess. Charlotte's approach was warm and disarming, immediately putting the children at ease. She spoke to them about the importance of education, sharing her own experiences as a student, and encouraging them to pursue their goals with determination. The visit left a lasting impression, not just on the students but also on Charlotte. She returned home with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to continue advocating for causes that mattered to her. The experience was a reminder of the power of connection, a principle that had been at the heart of her speech and would remain central to her actions moving forward. As the year progressed, Charlotte's growing confidence and maturity became increasingly apparent. At official events, she carried herself with a level of grace and composure that belied her age. Whether it was attending a state banquet alongside her family or participating in a local charity drive, Charlotte consistently demonstrated a deep understanding of the responsibilities that came with her role. Yet, despite the weight of these expectations, she managed to remain grounded, a testament to the values instilled in her by her parents. The public's admiration for Charlotte continued to grow, fueled by her ability to connect with people from all walks of life. From school children to world leaders, she approached every interaction with the same level of respect and authenticity. It was this quality that set her apart, making her a relatable and inspiring figure even as she navigated the complexities of royal life. By the end of the year, it was clear that Charlotte's journey was just beginning. Her speech had been a defining moment, but it was the actions she took in its aftermath that truly solidified her legacy. She had proven that leadership wasn't about grand gestures or sweeping statements. It was about the quiet, consistent effort to make the world a better place. For Charlotte, the future was full of possibilities. While her path within the monarchy was still uncertain, one thing was clear. She had already begun to redefine what it meant to be a royal in the 21st century. Her ability to balance tradition with progress, to connect with people on a personal level, and to inspire change through her actions made her a figure of immense promise. As the world looked ahead, many couldn't help but wonder what the next chapter in Charlotte's story would bring. Would she take on a larger role within the royal family? Would she continue to champion the causes that had become so central to her identity? Whatever the answers, one thing was certain. Princess Charlotte had already left an indelible mark on the monarchy and on the hearts of those who had been touched by her words and deeds. Her story wasn't just one of privilege or position. It was a story of potential, of how even the youngest among us can rise to the occasion and inspire others to do the same. Charlotte's journey was a reminder that leadership isn't about age or title. It's about the courage to stand up, speak out, and make a difference. And in that sense, Princess Charlotte had already become a leader in her own right. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.